Hey guys, so today I have swatches of these Colors to Carol neon collection. This is based off of the Beach Boys. So there are 8 polishes in this collection. They are all neon creams. They are supposed to be able to be worn without a white base. I'm going to swatch them with and without a white base so you can kind of see the difference. Because even if it is possible for a polish to be worn without the white base, sometimes they can still benefit from it. So yeah, I will link Colors to Carol down below so you guys can check these out, and I will get into the swatches. So the first polish in this collection is called Good Vibrations, and this is a neon yellow cream. I'm going to be showing this to you on its own and over white. So here is one coat of Good Vibrations. And here it is over white. So this one is a little bit streaky and sheer on one coat on its own, but is pretty good on one coat over white. So there is one coat of Good Vibrations. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Good Vibrations. I'm going to add a second coat here to the white. I didn't really think it needed it, but I thought I would just make sure. And that didn't really change the color much at all. It's still a little bit streaky in the second coat, so my nails that don't have the white base are going to have a third. One thing I've noticed is there's almost like, I don't know if you can see that, oh, it's really hard to see. There's like little chunks of pigment that come out on some of these polishes. There's like a white right on the end of my nail. It's really hard to see, but if you mess with them, they'll either come off the end of the nail or they'll smooth out on their own, but they do show up. You can see that one right there on my pinky. You can see it kind of dissolves a little bit as you work the polish. So there is 2 coats of Good Vibrations. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a third coat. So here is 3 coats of Good Vibrations. These are thick. They're a little bit difficult to work with because they are thick, or at least this one is. You can see I've got a chunk of that pigment there as well, and I'm going to try to get off the nail. I don't think this covers completely on 3 coats, but you guys know I tend to max out on 3 coats, so I do suggest wearing this over white. It's pretty good on 1 coat over white. So there is 3 coats of Good Vibrations. The next polish is called I Get Around, and this is a lime green cream. And again, I'm doing this on its own and over white. So here is 1 coat of I Get Around. Here it is over white. This one feels a little bit thinner than the yellow one did, so it's a little bit easier to work with. Still a bit streaky and sheer on the first coat, and I know it's hard to tell on the white, but it's a little bit streaky there too. So there is 1 coat of I Get Around. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of I Get Around. These do dry matte, so you will want a good top coat. I'm still getting a few of those little like pigment chunks in here. Not as many as I had in the yellow, but I'm still getting them. And the formula is a lot thinner on this one too. It's a lot easier to work with. So there is 2 coats of I Get Around. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a third coat. So here is 3 coats of I Get Around. This one is nearly opaque on its own after 3 coats, but I can still see a little bit of my nail line and a little bit of streaks. It's not as bad as the yellow, but it is noticeable. It is good over white after 2 coats. So there is 3 coats of I Get Around. This is another one that I think could benefit from a white base. The next polish is called Do You Want to Dance? And this is a very, very hard to capture neon orange cream. My camera has a real hard time with oranges and hot pinks, so hopefully this will show as accurate as possible. So here is 1 coat of Do You Want to Dance? And here it is over white. This one is like the green. It's thinner, so it's a little bit easier to work with. It does cover better than either of the last 2 that I've done, and it covers completely in 1 coat over the white. So there is 2 coats of Do You Want to Dance? It's really freaking my camera out, so I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So I tried to tone down the lighting a little bit so you could actually see the polish instead of just like a big orange glare. So here is 2 coats of Do You Want to Dance? This one looks like it covers completely on its own in 2 coats. It might need a third depending on your application. I think it's one of those ones that's right on the fence. I am getting a couple of those like little pieces of pigment. This was good on 1 coat over white on its own, and that 1 coat over white is a bit brighter as well. But I don't think you need the white base. I think it's just up to you how you want to do it. So again, this is 2 coats. It could need 3. It will probably depend on your application because this one is right on the line. The next polish is called All Summer Long, and this is kind of a reddish orange neon cream. Here it is next to Do You Want to Dance? So you can see that it is darker and more red. The difference between these two is more obvious in person. I just have a hard time with oranges in my camera. So here is 1 coat of All Summer Long, and here it is over white. This one has a great, smooth, easy formula. It covers pretty well on 1 coat on its own, and it covers completely, or I should say it doesn't have any streaks, with a white base. So there is 1 coat of All Summer Long. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of All Summer Long. This one does cover completely in 2 coats. You can almost see like a little bit of a dark-ish dip where my nail line is, but you can't really make it out. So I'm going to call it 2 coats just because these can get a little bit thick and it's easier to just have that little bit of darkness than to add a third. And I did want to point out that one of the reasons that these are a little bit on the thicker side, even though none of them have been quite as thick as the yellow, the reason the majority of them are on the thicker side is because it makes them opaque. If they were thin, then they would not be able to be built up in 2 to 3 coats. So that is 2 coats of All Summer Long. The next polish is a bright neon pink. This is called Surfin USA. So here is 1 coat of Surfin USA. And here it is over white. This has that same thinner, easy to work with formula. It covers completely in 1 coat, or I should say it's streakless in 1 coat over white, and it covers pretty well on the first coat on its own. So there is 1 coat of Surfin USA. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Surfin USA. This one does cover completely in 2 coats on its own, but you can see the difference in the color that you get if you layer it over white. So there is 2 coats of Surfin USA. The next polish is called California Girl, and this is a bit of a darker bright pink. Here it is next to Surfin USA, and again the camera's making them really blaring, and the difference isn't as obvious, but it's a little more apparent in person. They are pretty close, but they're not exact. So here is 1 coat of California Girl, and here it is over white. This one has that same easy, smooth, thinner formula. It actually covers really well on its own on 1 coat, and then 1 thick coat over the white is completely streak free. So there is 1 coat of California Girl. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. This one covers completely in 2 coats on its own, but it is quite a bit brighter over the white. So there is 2 coats of Surfin USA. The next polish is called Fun Fun Fun, and this is a neon-ish purple. I really don't think I need to show this one or the next one over white because they're very obviously, like looking at the color, will stand alone, but I've done it for all the other ones, so I might as well do it for these ones as well. So here is 1 coat of Fun Fun Fun, and here it is over white. So this has that thin, easy to work with formula. It covers really well on its own on the first coat. And actually, because it's a darker color, the white base shows streaks a lot more than my natural nail would. So I think it makes it cover not as good with a white base, even though the color does look different. So there is 1 coat of Fun Fun Fun. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Fun Fun Fun. Here is 2 coats over white. So this one covers completely on 2 coats, both over white and on its own, but there really isn't too much of a difference in the color between the white base and no white base, so I don't think there's really a point in it for this one. So there is 2 coats of Fun Fun Fun. And the last polish is called Sail On Sailor, and this is a blue creamish crelly. So here is one coat of Sail On Sailor, and here it is over white. This has that same thinner, easier to work with formula. It covers really well on the first coat on its own. It does show to be a bit streakier over white, but that's because the color is so dark. So there is one coat of Sail On Sailor. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Sail On Sailor. And here is 2 coats over white. So this one covers completely on 2 coats on its own, and it's streak free on 2 coats over white. The 2 coats over white do turn out to be a little bit of a brighter blue. So there is 2 coats of Sail On Sailor. So my 2 favorites in this collection are going to be Fun, 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 because I just really, really like this purple shade. And I never used to like purples, but now I'm kind of getting more into them. So I really like this one. And then the other one is Surfin USA, because you can never go wrong with a neon pink, especially when it starts to warm up a little bit more outside and like you get a little bit of a tan. I really like these colors, especially on my toes when I'm a little bit darker. Overall, I think this is a really good collection. There are some, I would call them misses, because they do work well over a white base. But if you're going to pitch them as like not needing a white base, then some of the lighter colors, the yellow and the green, are kind of misses, but they do perform fine over a white base, which is kind of what I've come to expect from neons, especially lighter neons like that. So, I mean, they work either way. I think there are some great, really fun summer colors in here. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, I will link Colors to Carol down below, and I do have a coupon code that I'll put down in the description box that I keep forgetting to tell you guys about, but I have it. So yeah, I'll put that down there as well in case you guys are interested in any of these. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.